welcome to today's episode of Empowerment Hour. Empowerment Hour is a time where we discuss issues that will uplift lives. And today we'll be discussing on a very crucial topic. We'll be talking about recruitment. And to do that with us, we have an expert in this field, the country manager of Emerald Isle Recruitment, in the person of Mr. Chandana. I won't talk further. I'll allow him to explain and introduce himself. Welcome to the show, Mr. Chandana.
Thank you very much, Tim. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Please, can you tell us a little bit about yourself first, before we get into what you do?
Excellent. Now, I'm Chandana Vikramaratna, and I'm the country manager for Emerald Isle Recruitment Company in West Africa. And this company is part of a group of companies that work with recruitment and travel. And we are headquartered in Sri Lanka, and we are present in 17 different locations in the world, mainly Asian countries. And now recently we started doing recruitment for Romania, and we are doing recruitment for Ireland. So we are an expanding company on recruitment, and our company has over 20 years of experience in this field. It's 2 decades. And the company has won numerous awards on recruitment. And we will go through this in a while.
Yes.
But that is what we do. Our company has 2 parts mainly, one travel and then recruitment. That's where I'm involved in. And very recently we have started our branch here in Nigeria. So we are now in the process of setting up and how we are going to go about recruitment of Nigerians to work overseas. Specifically, we are focused on recruiting Nigerians to work overseas.
Good. You know, that was actually what captured my attention when I heard about Emerald Isle, that you are right now in Nigeria, looking at your record of about 2 decades, 20 years. Please, can you tell us a little bit of how this program works?
Okay.
How can somebody who has interest in working outside Nigeria get through your
Very good. Now, Tim, in Nigeria, in my research, I found out that many Nigerians don't know that they can work abroad in a company. That's number one.
Yes.
Okay. And then I have lived and worked in about 12 different countries in my last 25 years or so. And then major part of it has been in the Middle East. And if you take a country like, let me explain what foreign employment is all about for Nigerians. Now, if you take a country like UAE, United Arab Emirates, that is Dubai. Abu Dhabi, Ras Al Khaimah, Al Ain, like that, it's a collection of Emirates makes UAE, and people know Dubai because it's the most known city in the in UAE, but the capital of UAE is actually Abu Dhabi.
Okay.
Right. So and then Kuwait, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, all this makes Gulf states, GCC countries, Gulf Cooperation Council countries, and most of these countries, vast majority of them have very small local population.
Okay.
If you take, for example, in the UAE, United Arab Emirates, the total local population is only 11%.
Oh.
So you have 89% expatriates working in the country. If you take Saudi Arabia, for example, Saudi Arabia has the largest population in the Middle East, and there the percentage of locals is approximately 20%. So you have 80% expatriates. So there is no way these countries can run with the local workforce working as drivers, working as nurse. You don't find locals working as waiters. You don't find. If they are working, they are a company director. If they are working, they are a CEO. If they are working, now you see in the healthcare sector in the UAE, you have doctors, right? But still a large proportion of the workforce is expatriates, and there each country is given a quota, right? So the UAE government decides, Saudi Arabian government decides, Bahraini government decides, Kuwaiti government decides how many Nigerians are allowed to work there, how many Kenyans are allowed to work there, and it is regulated. So most of the time that you see quota, it is called nationality quota, right? Even in Nigeria there is nationality quota to employ expatriates. So most of the time in the Middle East you see Kenyans, you see Ethiopians, you see Sudanese, but you hardly see Nigerians, or a very low percentage of Nigerians, for various reasons. Number one, the number one factor is that there are no credible, honest agents in Nigeria who are doing this in a legal manner.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
You touched it at the start. There are no honest legal companies who are doing that. There has been a record of fraud and scams. So that is one. And so that's where we come in. We are an internationally recognized company. We are present in 12 different countries now. And Nigeria is the latest addition. And that's why we are here.
Okay. Now, I know our viewers will be asking this question as well. What form of job security do you provide for these foreigners who are traveling outside the country? Now, we have had issues in countries like Lebanon and all these areas where you are allowed to travel, but the job you're going there to do is different from what you were promised to do.
Good question. Tim, in the Middle East, companies, when they need, for example, now we provide manpower for various fields, like hotel and hospitality is one of our biggest, and then we have sales and marketing, and then we have finance, we have administration, we have engineering, construction, maintenance, automotive, transport. These are few. Now let's take, for example, a waiter, a Nigerian waiter going to work in Abu Dhabi, let's take it, right? And if he is working for, we will do recruitment for international brands, okay, even local brands, but they are reputed, government recognized good companies, right? Now say a waiter going to work in a hotel in Dubai or Abu Dhabi, and first thing, he will have an interview here, the screening, and then the selection interview, and finally when he is hired, he will receive an offer letter, a contract from the company who is going to employ him in Dubai. Okay, and then that contract is a legally binding contract that is certified by the authorities in the UAE. Okay, so it is authorized and certified by the government there, and then here in Nigeria, the representation of that will be through the embassy of UAE. For example, if it is Kuwait, the Kuwaiti embassy, and there the employment contract and all the documents will be submitted to the embassy, so that it is a very transparent process of a legal process. And they have to go for medicals, and the medicals, for example, if you take the Saudi Arabian embassy here, has designated places to where this employee should take his medical test. He cannot take a medical test anywhere and come and say, I'm fit. So like that, it is a controlled, governed process.
Excellent. I also want to know, and I believe our viewers will also want to know this, what are the learning opportunities or the development opportunities for these people who are moving to other countries to work?
Good question. Tim, let me take it in two parts.
Okay.
Now, for example, before learning and development opportunities, you have to look at the well-being of the people, right? That is a basic need.
Yes.
Now, all these contracts that people we select will sign a contract, and that is a legally binding contract, I said, between the employer and the employee. Certified by the government authorities here and there, and we are the agents to ensure that it happens.
Good.
If there's something wrong, they can always approach to us. We will mediate
As the agent.
agents. Yeah. And now, this is how it works. This is what most Nigerians don't know. Let's take the example of the waiter going to Kuwait. Okay. Now, when he's finished his medical, signed his contract, the company that is hiring the waiter will pay for the air ticket. So the Nigerian waiter don't have to buy the ticket. I know now here, many cases they say you have to buy the ticket. That's not the case. The employer will provide the air ticket.
Oh,
To
great.
go, right? And when you land at the airport in Kuwait, there will be a HR department representative waiting with the name written and waiting to welcome you, right? And then he will be taken to the company accommodation where he is given a room. In a case of a waiter, it will be sharing two, right? It could be based on how big are they. It could be a sharing accommodation, but he will be taken to his accommodation by the HR department and given welcome by HR people to his accommodation. So he has a place to stay, and there is food to eat provided by the company. Whether he's working or whether he's not working, his food is paid, his accommodation is paid,
Wow.
and medicine. If he is sick, the doctor's care is paid by the company. Medicine is paid by the company, and the company will pay for your uniforms, right?
Yeah.
So he does not have to spend any money on his food, accommodation, transport, medical. He does not need to. The company pays for it. And,
Wow.
And then this is what many Nigerians don't know.
I think why it looks like we don't know these things is actually because of the past experience. And you know, these experiences people have, it will always be louder than the positive ones. If you check online and do your findings, you discover that there are much more people who have been treated wrongly. And I know there are a lot of people who are interested in picking up this program. Please, can we get to know who and who qualifies
Right.
for this program?
Now, if I'm taking the example of a waiter the whole time, let's say a driver. If we want a driver, and we need to make sure this driver has a driving license, and then he should pass a medical test to see that he is fit to do a driver's job, and we should have his employment history, right? We need to have his certificates. Where did he work? Which company he worked? For how long he worked?
Okay.
Right? And then we will verify this to see, if these documents are authentic or not. We'll do background checks. So they have to have a clear career history
Okay.
of working. And then our interview process, we do of course a pre-screening, and then we do a thorough selection interview, and we use various recruitment processes, systems. We use talent-based hiring, we use behavioral interviews, we use aptitude tests, and we skill. If it is a driver, he will definitely go through a practical test of driving. Right?
Now, before we go forward, I know many of you are asking questions right now. How do we contact Emerald Isle Recruitment? At the end of the show, all the information you need is going to be lined up for you. You can call them, you can write them, send them emails. They are right now in Nigeria. And Mr. Chandana is representing that. He's managing the Nigerian sector, and he's here in Nigeria. So a lot of trainings will be happening, and I think we'll have to provide our platform as well in case of people who need to reach you as well. They can go through our platform. We'll be sending out publications out on our Instagram, on our Facebook page, so you can follow the process and, we believe, benefit from what Emerald Isle is bringing forward to Nigerians, which is a very good development.
Tim, very quickly, they need to have a passport. Now, most of Nigerians that I found out don't have an identity card, and then you need to have a valid passport,
Okay.
and then you need to have your experience certificates, your education certificate, because it's a transparent, certified process. Nothing is verbal. So they need to have that ready. Someone maybe the driver has 20 years of experience, but if he does not have certificates to show that I have worked in ABCD companies so and so times, we can't entertain.
Yes, this is another information, because most times people just pick jobs. There is no employment letter. There's no proof to show that you worked at so and so place. I think if you're interested in this program, you have to start picking up all these documents as well. Go back to your former employers and try to get these documents from them.
Tim, I would like to quickly run through the brochure.
Okay.
Right. So it is a very structured information piece, and this is what we want to give to people who want to know. Okay. Now we are headquartered in Sri Lanka, and currently we supply manpower, and that's what we supply to the Middle East. Now we are talking about 7 to 10 Middle East and Gulf GCC countries, and then to Europe. I said Ireland and Romania, Eastern Europe and Central Europe, yes. And then and to Asian countries, Indonesia, Malaysia, right? Since 1995, so that's 2 decades of credibility.
Yes.
And then we are a certified foreign employment agent in Sri Lanka. We have our license details here and our registrations here. And then we are currently present in Nepal, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Kenya, Ghana, Tunisia, Morocco, Indonesia, Philippines, Japan. Latest additions are Romania and Nigeria. Right? So that's where we are present. And then we have a CEO and we have our HR team. Our HR team is about 12 people there. This is selection team. Those who are doing sourcing and selecting people. But our entire staffing in Colombo is about 60 people.
Wow.
So, for example, this is our recruitment team, about ladies and gentlemen who are doing this job for us. Then these are our licenses. People can look at this, go online and check these licenses are authentic or not.
I think most of these certificates are on your website as well.
Sure.
Yes. So,
and we have won number of awards, being the best employer number of times. Yeah. And for female empowerment, we have been selected Sri Lanka's best employer brand, Sri Lanka's best employer female employer brand.
Wow.
So we have these are all those credentials. In addition to that, very important, we have been recognized not just in Sri Lanka, in global criteria for Asia's best brands 1990.
Wow.
Sorry, 2019. Right. So we are credible and we have evidence to prove that.
Mr. Chandana, it's been very, very wonderful talking with you and bringing this level of enlightenment to Nigerians and I know other people around the world, because this information it's not just for Nigerians. I feel so happy to get this information and to have you on this platform. I believe there are still so much we will do. It's Empowerment Hour and it's all about empowering your mind. The mind is a very great part of your being, spiritually, financially, and otherwise. Thank you again, Mr. Chandana. Do you have any word for our viewers before we close the show?
Tim, thank you for launching your Empowerment Hour. I think that's a good idea.
Yes.
When many news platforms carry violence, where they carry bad news, the negative news. And people are stuck. That I have seen, they are stuck in a box where there are problems. Yeah. But now it's time for you to come up with solutions.
Yes.
So you are trying to do that. So good luck with your.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chandra. Thank you very much. Expect other powerful episodes of Empowerment Hour. For now, see you later. Bye.